Black, brown, and college bound, that ring to it itself is very special.
Some people don't believe that there is an issue.
We need you desperately. We need you to get your education.
At a time in which the education gap is as wide as it is, I cannot think of a more important issue to really discuss.
I've always wanted to go to college.
Clearly, we're doing something wrong. If we're talking about issues that are serious affecting Black and brown men, we know that many of these issues, folks try to keep them hidden.
And if we don't force ourselves to have more uncomfortable conversations, we're not going to get anywhere.
I'd be nowhere without an education. I'd be nowhere if I hadn't stayed in school. I'd be nowhere if I let my color hold me back.
The growth and the quality has been a plus over the last 10 years.
I've never attended an event of this magnitude.
We have reached a much larger and broader audience. We have been able to secure much larger speakers.
If I had a 67% rate of making people sick, the health department would shut me down. But we don't shut our schools down that have that same level of failure. But we don't want to talk about that.
So if we know that, then we can't have our only intervention focus on students, right? Because
if you look at Black and brown Latino males, 3 out of 4 are being raised by single moms. We have dropout rates that are well above 50%.
I ain't interested in baby daddies. I want to hear about fathers. I want to hear about fathers who care for their children.
I grew up in the rough, where the seduction of drugs, violence, and criminality was everywhere.
It is a matter of economic and national security that we do more to prepare this next generation.
Listen carefully, Lieutenant Powell. We don't care if you're black, white, blue, gray, or anything else. Don't give us any hard luck stories about you being a poor kid. We don't care that your parents are immigrants. It means nothing to us.
Throughout my career, I did everything I could to make sure that racism directed toward me was always seen as a problem for the racist, not a problem for me.
You literally could grow up in the ghetto, and because you get a great education, create wealth for your family for generations to come.
I may be black, I may be brown, I may be Latino, I may be Hispanic, but I am somebody. I'm gonna be somebody in the future. I'm gonna get my education. I'm not gonna let my family down. I'm not gonna let this country down.
His message of being Americans first and doing right by our communities, especially for Black and brown people, it does matter.
My heartstring has always been education. I tell many professional athletes or aspiring athletes, student athlete. Education is a foundation that they stand on and not a crutch that they fall on. One play, my career in sports could be over. My bachelor's degree is in business communication and my master's is in business communication. I'm just glad to see more athletes getting involved now as far as trying to influence kids in Board of Education. Both my mom and dad only had a high school education, but they were determined, I'm from a family of 8, that every one of us was going to get our degree, and we did.
Right now, we are going through our own civil rights movement. American citizenship means showing up for each other. It means that we have a responsibility in this country to not only care about ourselves, to look around, right, and realize that I am connected to all of these other people.
When you go to people and say, are you willing to be a mentor? Is it something that you'd want to do? People almost summarily and universally will say yes. And then you find that they say yes, they will do it, but they don't do it.
No one ever argues about mentoring, right? Everybody thinks, no matter what political spectrum you're from, no matter rich or poor, everybody says mentoring is good.
What are we going to do next? And why is there always wonderful talk about solutions, about programs, about what we can do?
I think what we need to continue to focus on is access and realizing that access doesn't look the same for everyone.
We need to work harder on more Black and Latino males completing college.
And I was that kid too. I'm not gonna go to school, I'm not gonna go to college. That's for the white people or that's for the rich people. Those are the ones who go to college.
Do something to help yourself. But some people don't seem to do that. They just sort of end up in the same spot their parents were, just working and working for just survival. And I don't think that's what their parents intended.
I don't care what obstacles they throw in my way, I'm going to overcome them because I can.
That's the reason why I'm here right now talking to you as a state representative,
I came through a lot of the schools that were just like their schools. I was a student at HCC at one point. I went to the University of South Florida in St. Leo. And so I understand what it's like to be a student. I understand what it's like sometimes to struggle. And so for somebody like me to make it, I'm no different than them, says that they can make it too.
I will not allow fear to stop me